Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to the BS Buddies podcast. I'm your host, Joe. That is your host, Ian. And today we are going to be talking about gaming, which I'm surprised it's taken us this many episodes to get to since we're both heavily invested in gaming.
Yeah, we like to take roundabout times to get to very commonplace topics, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about crappy superpowers and diseases that we can come up with, and then several episodes later, oh yeah, game consoles. Yeah, we both like gaming. That'd be a fun thing to talk about, wouldn't it? I would enjoy that.
So I used to upload YouTube gaming videos, which kind of stopped, got busy with other stuff. Ian currently posts gaming videos. Our channel links are in the description with every video. I figured out how to do that, so that's been super nice. So if you want to check out my channel or his channel personally, link is down below. Otherwise, hit subscribe if you want to hear us BS about other stuff. But for this topic of gaming, since we could branch off into a ton of different topics with this, we're going to specifically target consoles. So, and if you're a PC fan, you can listen to it.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Don't trust me.
So I'm gonna say just starting out. I think by this point most people realize the PC versus console war is pretty much over at this point. Like I gotta say, I haven't had. You see online here and there, people like to debate a little bit, but for the most part, I think people understand that we've hit a point in gaming where there's a distinct boundary between console and PC, and most people understand, if you're one, you're the other, who really cares? We're all having fun with games at this point.
Yeah, it was bad for a while. I think as soon as cross-platform gaming became like just commonplace, you're like, I don't care. And because with a lot of my buddies, like now I'm on PC and you're on console and vice versa. That's why Discord has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now whenever like me and my buddies want to play a game, it's like, okay, is it cross-platform so we can all play? But well,
or some of us going to be excluded.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, I got sick again. So if you see me like ducking my head out, I'm just trying not to cough in all of your ears because that's disgusting. Which is funny. Like the day that I uploaded the diseases episode is the day I got sick.
Joe's got Osmosis Jones and the Tylenol pill fighting a battle in his bloodstream right now. So send up a prayer for him and hope that he wins.
But well.
Go ahead.
We'll start with our first consoles. I think that's the best way to go about this, and then our growth through consoles. Did you want to start?
Sure. Funny enough, I actually busted out my very first console, which I still have to this day, which was a Super Nintendo. My dad came home one day. He had gone out. Whole long story behind it, but he had gone out to get some other items from his previous home, and he'd come back, and he brought with him a Super Nintendo, and he's like, oh yeah, this used to be your brother's, the original SNES, and in fact, it's got the faded gray turned slightly piss yellow with age color to it, and I only had exactly 5 games for it. I've had 5 games, only 5 games for it. It's the entire time I've had it, which was Street Fighter 2, The Rocketeer, Super Smash TV, Super Mario All-Stars, which was the one that had the first 3 Mario games and Mario the Lost Levels, and Super Mario World. So I had 2 Mario games, a fighting game. I don't know what you'd call The Rocketeer. That game was ridiculously hard. And what was the other one I said? Super Smash TV? Was that the one that I didn't mention? That one's like a shooting one, which is really hilarious. All of the games are very fun in their own right, but I have to say specifically, just because I played Rocketeer the other night, I don't know what in the world game companies were thinking back in the day when they made some of these games, because I think everyone understands by now games today are easier than
Oh
they
yeah.
used to be
Oh
back
yeah.
in the day. Now, granted, games today have a lot more to them. You can do a lot more things. Look at Grand Theft Auto and how much stuff you can, purchase cars, apartment. The amount of content within the game is a lot more. However, games today hold your hand a lot more through the tutorial process. Like
I,
my favorite one is whenever you boot up any shooter game ever, it'll give you like pro tip, aiming down the sights makes you more accurate. Oh, no
so
way. Never would have thought of that one, Einstein.
I don't know if you've ever played the game Bulletstorm. Um, I know it was
Sounds
on like
familiar.
360, but its tutorial level is literally making fun of Call of Duty the entire time. If you've never seen it, look up Bulletstorm tutorial. It is so funny. Like you shoot one enemy in like a firing range, and then it just like is like super soldier, mega sergeant, and just stuff like that. My favorite part about that game is it had a kicking mechanic, like just a
Oh,
flat out
right.
kick. And why shoot your gun when you could just kick people? But
Yeah, honestly, at that
um,
point,
I wanted to add to what you were saying. Also, saves. I want to say saves are a big thing with
saving,
that because, um,
auto
like
saving, even.
yeah, like with Elden Ring, like you'll always get to like you'll always spawn right before the boss. I mean, with games like that, that's a different animal. I know those games
Checkpoints
well
and
enough. I'm not great at them. I know them well enough and how punishing they can be. But at least it's not like you have to do like 3 hard missions in a row and then you might get a save at the end.
well, and I think the funnier thing too is even the feature of auto saving and checkpoints. For any of our younger viewers who are watching or listening in, back in the early aughts of gaming, you had to manual save or complete the whole level within a set number of lives, or you were restarting that whole thing. One game specifically that comes to mind for me is the early Medal of Honor series, the early Medal of Honor games. They had no checkpoints, and you had to manually save after each mission if you wanted to make sure that your progress throughout the entire game was saved. So if you were playing through the game and let's say you beat 4 or 5 really hard missions in a row and you didn't save, the next time you booted up that console, guess what, Buckaroo? You're in for round two. And those games also, you'd be doing a really hard mission. You'd fight through all these enemies, and you'd get to a certain point, and you're like, "Oh man, I finally made it through all that." And then you fight the boss, and then the boss kills you in 2 hits. You got to fight your way through all those enemies again to get to the end. It was a real doozy back in the day.
Uh, Going back a little more on topic. My first console, which was technically not mine, but I like to say like first console, Nintendo 64, which
Oh,
it
what a
was my
classic!
oldest sister's technically, and I was like 4, so I didn't really understand a lot of it. Now that I'm playing a lot of older games now, but we had Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64,
Ooh,
um, like an AEW WWF game, something like that.
back when
Um,
it was WWF.
yeah, another game, and then my favorite one was Diddy Kong Racing,
Ooh,
which
Diddy Kong Racing. That was a good
um,
one. I remember playing that one, I think. Didn't we
I
play that one a couple of times?
yeah, because I bought an N64 around when I was in college, and then I bought Diddy Kong Racing, and I didn't realize how hard that game is. Like, I'm
Yeah.
lucky. Excuse me. I'm lucky that my oldest sister like played through it and like got all of the races done because I tried to do that on my own at like age 19 or 20 and it was hard. Like the first boss race was just ridiculous.
They made those games super hard and they did not hold your hand or give you
Oh
any
no.
tip. Um and just as a side note, still talking about this, I got when they released 007. the original on the Xbox. I got it, and I was playing through some of the missions just to remember the nostalgia and all that. And yeah, those games gave you no direction. You know, you'd have that little mission briefing at like the start of the mission where it's like, oh, you need to infiltrate the dam, blow up the computer system, and then stow aboard the submarine or something like that. And you're like, okay, okay. And then you load into the map, no objective markers, no compass, nothing to tell
Let's
you
just
what's what.
figure it
You
out.
just wander around the map until you find the thing that you need to get. And if you accidentally blow it up, sorry, Palio, it looks like you better hit the restart. It just, it was harsh. It was so harsh.
Also,
Uh,
my buddy Saki would always somehow like have the same consoles as us, like right before. And he had a lot of games. Like on the N64, he had the original like Smash Bros. Um,
oh,
there was like a I can't remember what it's called, but it was like I think it was straight up called Green Army Men.
oh, yep.
Um,
I think
um,
based off the movie, wasn't it?
no idea. He had a Kirby game that I loved, but he hated because that's all I wanted to play because I was good at it. Um, and he stomped me and everything else. Um, but uh, I'm that'll bring me into my next console, which he got, and then I talked about it so much that my parents are like, you know what, this seems kind of fun, and they ended up getting the console for me for Christmas, the Nintendo Wii.
The Nintendo Wii. I
What
remember that. Oh, that was revolutionary when that thing came out.
I
Motion
had so many
controls.
games from it. It's funny. I'm gonna bring this up. I asked for a baseball game for the Wii for my parents for Christmas, and they gave me one. Like I was thinking, like the show quality, like real people, and like my
Yeah.
mom got me like a cartoony one, and like she could tell like I wasn't super thrilled with it, and then like I gave her a really cheesy smile. I think there's a picture of it somewhere at my parents'
You're like,
house, and I
yay.
wasn't super excited, but honestly, that's probably my number one favorite game. MLB Power Pros 2008. I still play that to this day, and it is 2023.
Just had that same energy of it's an avocado. Thing.
Pretty much. And then I started playing it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this game to pieces.
Just thinking of old sports games I used to play. It wasn't my first console, but my sister had the original Nintendo. Um, and that had MLB 98 and NBA 95. And wow, you want to talk about playing baseball and bats. I love playing NBA 95 because you could just hit the shoot button from anywhere on the court and there was like a 50-50 chance you'd make it. So anytime I got a rebound, I didn't bother dribbling down the court. I just shoot from the other. I would be shooting three-pointers from the other free throw line. And half the time they went in. So why the hell bother going down the court when I can just sink them from back here?
Tried to have my
But
dad play some NBA 2K, like from the early 2010s, and that's what he would accidentally do because there would be a button to shoot and a stick to shoot, and he would accidentally hit the other stick all the time and just shoot from full court.
oh, that is great. Well, and that's, and thinking about the evolution of games, that brings me to my second console was I jumped right to the PlayStation 2. I think I was about 10 years old when my brother got me my PlayStation 2, and you want to talk about mind-blowing upgrade. I went from like 32-bit pixel art rendered on a screen to full 3D, like 256 polygon movable walking characters, probably more than that even on a screen. Wow, that was absolutely blew my mind what that game could do. And I had Sly Cooper, NASCAR. I've got 70
NASCAR,
some PS2 games.
NASCAR
To
was fun. Like,
oh,
but the thing
that,
is, my cousins had it, and we would just drive backwards. That's the only time we would play it. We would just turn around
you
and
know,
go backwards.
of everyone I've ever talked to who's ever played a NASCAR game, I think That's the only thing anyone ever did on the NASCAR games. And you see, I loved it because what I would do is I would turn off the what's that called? The pit car when they come out and they drive real
The
slow.
yellow flag.
Yeah, the yellow flag. I would turn off yellow flags. I would turn off the lap car. I would turn off any and all basically
Prohibitors.
caution. Yeah, inhibitors that would protect you from doing that. And then, yeah, so what I would do is I would build up speed. I would actually race a couple laps around, avoid everybody, so that way I could hit them on the straightaway going like 200 miles an hour. And one time I caused an accident because I had NASCAR 2001. So, still had Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the game. Raise hell, praise Dale. But I come around backwards and I smacked into that group, and they were bunched up so perfect that one car actually launched. He glitched through the rear end, launched over the other one, and then the front end of mine slammed into him, and it sent him into a spin so fast he started on fire. Like, he wasn't on fire when he left the ground. He wasn't on fire when I hit him. Like, he started spinning and he hit warp speed and just combusted. And I had that replay saved for the longest time. I had tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. It was just absolutely hilarious. And I had the PS2 Slim model. For anyone who was wondering, the fat versus the slim. In fact, I still have the slim model. I was telling Joe just before we started this, I have to do some repairs on it because my ribbon scratched up one of my discs and now it's unreadable. So that is the pain of carrying old consoles with you into the future, is that material degradation does in fact happen. But she still works to this day. I keep her alive and well, and I got all my games for her right back there.
My cousins had a PS2, and they had so many games for it. One of my favorites that we would play, another baseball game, and I wish they would bring this back, but I understand why they don't. MLB Slugfest '06. Do you know the game?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know it off the top of my head. No.
So imagine baseball, and people say it's boring, there's not a lot of action. This game changes that. You can punch, you can kick, you can throw a ball at a hitter, and
And
there will be a fist fight. And then whoever won the fist fight, like, their head would start on fire because they were like on fire, like they were pumped.
Yep.
Yeah. For the sake of time, I won't go into that too much. But yeah, it was baseball, but you could punch the runners and the fielders.
With hockey rules.
No, even harder.
Base.
Just straight up sucker punching each other.
It was a blood sport. It was baseball as described by that one NPC in Fallout 4. They got swatters, and each team will go on the field and they beat the shit out of each other with swatters. And I don't think that's how baseball is. That's exactly how baseball worked.
How about after PS2? What did you have?
So after the PS2, I moved up to the PlayStation 3. That was my next leap forward, and I actually had the motion controls for that, the PlayStation Move. And a lot of people dunked on it because it was arguably pretty bad. However, it was also a lot of fun because if you got the sport championships from it, you could do like this sword fighting. And that was a lot of fun for its time back in the day. Fairly responsive with the controls and all that. And you could do like these cool moves, like if you raise the control over the head, your guy would do like a jump and a sword slam. So I really enjoyed that. My PS3 was a lot of fun. I'm actually very sad because I still have the PlayStation 3, but a couple of years ago, I went to boot it up, and the hard drive was corrupted, and it would not boot into the loading screen again. And I tried absolutely everything before finally I had to factory reset, wipe the hard drive, and so now all my progress, all the games I had on there, it's all gone. And Granted, I obviously I can replay them. I still have the games and all that, but it's a little bittersweet. It's not the same. I had a Minecraft world on there that I worked on for probably 3 or 4 years, back when Minecraft first started on the consoles, and like you had limited map sizes and all that funky business. I really built that sucker up, so that kind of hurt to watch that go. But good things can't last forever, or whatever they say.
Um, for me, I also forgot, which technically not a console, but Game Boy and Nintendo DS. The Game Boy I had was not like the original, like small one. It was the like flip up one, and it had the
Oh,
light in it. So
yeah.
I didn't go through the days of like having to have an external light to look at your Game Boy. I was lucky. Had screen brightness setting, but
Yeah, that
um,
that was a wild time, huh? When LCD or LED screens weren't a thing. You actually had to have physical light to be able to see your nonsense, and hoofda. That was quite.
um,
I got both of mine right over there too. I actually found those at my parents' place. I was a
yeah, I
spoiled child.
lost
I had
mine.
that little light. I had the little light fixture that folded over so I could see my screen, but I lost that years ago.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Like, I didn't even need that. I had a more updated model. Um, but after the Wii, and I had the DS around that time as well. Um, I got the Xbox 360 was my next one. Um, and trying to, just for the sake of time, not go into too many games because that could be a whole other topic for us, I'm sure. But my most played game on there, I believe, would probably be GTA 5. That's where I met a lot of online friends, and after a decade, still friends with some of them. Um, but that's a topic for another day.
Other time, yep. See, I jumped from the PlayStation 3 to actually 8 years ago, almost to the day on Black Friday, I got myself an Xbox One, and then eventually I've upgraded myself to the Series X now, which I believe they call that diminishing returns. We've hit the point where there is not too much of a denigration between the one to the Series X. Obviously, better graphics, frames per second, and all that, but functionally they are identical to each other. And it's funny that you mentioned GTA 5 because I was thinking of it. The 360 and the original Xbox, PS2, they had like 3 or 4 GTA games. GTA 5 has had 3 consoles.
Yeah.
That is wild to me to think that we started with GTA 5 all the way back in 2013, a decade ago, and thought, wow, this game is mind blowing. And now here we are today going, oh my God, Rockstar, please, please just release GTA 6,
Hey,
anything.
they have trailers out now. Finally, they have trailers out.
Trailers mean absolutely nothing to me. I've seen the rendering people can do on Source Filmmaker. I will judge it when I see a finished product. All right.
Okay,
If people
Doubting
can make
Thomas.
TF2, if people can make TF2 look like a feature film, then I'm pretty sure a multi-billion-dollar game company can pump out a couple of game trailers for the hype.
No, you make a lot of sense. But same as Ian after the 360. Back when I was in college, I get like you get tuition reimbursement from time to time. Yeah, I bought an Xbox One with mine. Um, I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege right away with some buddies of mine. Had it, like, I mean, I still have it, but just one day it was saying that the Xbox store needed an update, and it would not update. So all the games that I have, I can't update them, so I couldn't play them. So, and then around that time, I was gonna get back into doing YouTube videos, and I wanted a PC, so made the switch to a PC in 2020, and that's what I'm been rocking since.
Yeah, that is the frustrating thing of consoles being terminally online these days, is that, it's used to be you just pop a disc into the thing and away you were playing the game within 5 minutes. Nowadays, you buy a game at a store, and it's not even an actual game. It's just a little disc that says, "Ooh, you physically bought a copy, so you're allowed to play it." And you
Yeah, it
pop it in,
makes
and
no sense.
you're like, "Oh, before you play, you need a 32 gig update," and you're like, "Oh my god!" And then you got to click in there. Do you agree to our terms of use service agreement? Blah blah blah. And you're like, "Dude, I just want to play a game.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
like
don't
that's
want
why
to."
I bought the disc so I wouldn't have to wait for a download.
It's like I feel like I should be getting lawyers involved at this point just to be able to play this game.
No kidding.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I have too much else to add to the console upgrade. Otherwise, I'm going to start ripping into what I believe the gaming industry has become today, and I don't think anyone
Oh
wants to
boy.
listen to that ramble.
That's definitely its own topic.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, that's our list of consoles that we've had. Favorite console? Might as well go with that.
Mm, I am going to definitely give that to the king of consoles, PlayStation 2. And I can say that objectively because the PS2 still holds the record for the most sold gaming console ever in history, period. She still tops the charts. And even though the hardware was kind of iffy, there's a lot of fantastic games with a lot of great memories. And I believe that that's what counts in playing games. You can have the fanciest, prettiest looking game, but if you don't have friends to play it with,
True.
you know? And that's
Um,
sad to see the split screen gaming peter out as time has gone on. But like I said, I shan't delve into the judgmental ripping, at least not yet. We'll save that for another video.
for me, it's tough because I have the Wii, the 360, and the Xbox One that I'm debating between. I would put the N64 up, but I didn't understand it enough. Like my brain hadn't developed enough to understand how to play all the games. Because I was so young, and then when my sister moved out, I believe she took it with her, so I didn't have a console at home for a while. Um, I had the plug and play games that I'd have my parents
Those were a
buy
lot
me
of
so
fun
I would
too.
have something.
And Jack
But
specific.
but I think I'm gonna have to go with the 360. Because I think of the Black Ops 2 days. That's when I got into GTA 5 and meeting all those guys. It was my first online console, and that's when the first time I started recording videos was on the 360. So
Yeah, there
I'll
you
give it
go.
to
That's a
that.
fair reason. That's a fair reason to put her up there.
If you want to see those awful videos, check out my channel down below. Or if you want to see
There's even a
PS2
couple
videos,
featuring me.
yeah, there is. And one video, he almost broke one of my controllers. But we don't talk about that
Yeah.
anymore, do we?
Look, would you feel better if I sent you a 360 controller? Would you feel better if I bought you a 360 controller and mailed it to you?
That'd be funny.
Look, I will get you a. You know what? No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm
Yeah,
not going to tell you
let's.
what will get you to commemorate that. But
Okay.
I will say that I will make that up to
I,
you.
I will say it wasn't broken, but it was never the same after.
If it makes you feel any better or worse, I don't know. Um, my Super Nintendo controller over there that I can see from the corner of where I'm sitting still has duct tape on it from me struggling to play Mario when I was a young lad.
I don't blame you on that. Mario's tough. Um, but
Someone just rang the doorbell.
oh,
Hang on.
um, here
Well,
I'll
quick
I'll
pause.
wrap
You take
I'll
the
wrap it
outro.
up. I'll do the outro and stuff. You do your thing. Um, if if Ian comes back in time, wait, he hasn't left. Anyways, thank you for BSing with us. Um, I already forgot it because Ian's kind of all over the place. Thank you for BSing with us. We hope to see you next time. Subscribe or follow to become a bud today. And we'll do quotes since Ian is here.
It was a pizza delivery. Ivan ordered a pizza. My
Oh,
roommate, for anyone who's listening in, ordered a
oh.
pizza.
False alarm, just the pizza.
It was just a pizza. I was very confused. So apologies for that. You heard a nice ding dong in the background. Yeah, pizza was getting delivered. Thank
Um,
you, everyone, for stopping in. Random quote is you've got to be careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there.
I think I have an equally as good one. Put your ass where your heart wants to be.
Ooh,
Basically
that's a.
saying work on the thing you actually want to work on. I
Are
I
you sure?
kind of
Because
need that too.
that sounds like a trust exercise. Because my heart wants me to be, I don't know, sitting around a bonfire, and I feel like my ass in a bonfire would be a little toasty. So
I mean, if your heart wants to sit,
yeah, well, hey, there,
it
yeah.
needs
If you
needs to
got it,
be
you got a
there.
point there. If it wants to sit, it's already there. Currently sitting. I've already got it nailed. Look at there. All
But
right.
we will
Well,
see you next time when Ian ships me a random package to make up for the controller he almost broke. I'm I'm nervous, but
you
goodbye.
take her easy now.